Um, which does bring me up to the next thing I want to talk about, and this is something that should scare gamers. If you're a gamer, this should be scary. And my weekend was good. I had a nice relaxing time, and I did a little bit of swimming. But the weekend was good. So this is something that I saw today, and this scares me. That Microsoft is reportedly looking to try and buy Valve/Steam. Rumors have and bearing in mind, keyword here is rumors. We don't know how factual this may be. But it's rumored that Microsoft is considering trying to make a bid on Valve/Steam for $16 billion. And if you are a gamer and you get games from Steam, this should terrify you. Because right now, Microsoft is going down the drain in the gaming industry. Xbox is failing and failing hard. It would not surprise me if, things continue along this track. No, I don't either. I think if Microsoft were to approach Valve would basically tell them to, I would like to think, and this is me trying to think positively here, that if Microsoft approached Valve and said, we will buy your company for $16 million or $1 billion, yes, I would hope that Valve would tell them straight away, no hesitation, go fuck yourself. And I think if this news starts becoming more solid, let's see if there's more articles about it. Let's see. So, is this the same one? No. It's a Tech Times. What do they say? Yeah, I mean they bought Activision Blizzard for $68 billion. And they want to buy Valve, which, in my opinion, has a much higher value than Activision does. Activision, I think they paid way overpriced for Activision Blizzard. They paid way too much money, and now they're losing their ass on the Activision Blizzard acquisition. That nearly $70 billion acquisition, I think Microsoft is losing their ass because of that. So if Microsoft tries to approach Valve with a paltry $16 billion, when Valve has got a very successful game library, and not to mention the sheer volume of games that Valve has available, I think Valve would actually probably laugh their asses off at a $16 billion offer. Because if I were to guess, let's see, let's do some checking. Activision Blizzard. Let's see if we can gauge how many games they have. Here we go. Hey, let me see. How many games? So Blizzard itself has 19 games since 1991. And Activision probably has a lot more. Let's see. So Activision has a very so that bearing in mind Activision only dates back. This list only dates back to 2000. But as you can see, Activision does have a very large list of games up until 2011. So they do have a very healthy list of games. But now let's see. Over 73,000 games are on Steam. Okay? 73,000 games are available on Steam. So that's more games than Activision Blizzard has by probably at least 1,000. By a factor of 1,000, mind you. 1,000 more games. That's by a factor of 1,000. Because I'm not going to bother counting how many games Activision Blizzard has, because it's not that many. It's probably, if it was 100, I'd be surprised. So, for the very idea of Microsoft proposing a $16 billion acquisition of Valve, honestly, it's laughable. And I think Valve would laugh and tell Microsoft to go fuck itself if they were approached with a $16 billion acquisition deal when they bought Activision Blizzard for nearly $70 billion. So this is just a rumor, and I strongly suspect that if this may very well be a bit of a leak, and it may be a sort of testing of the waters for Microsoft, perhaps. Maybe they're putting up, they absolutely do. And I imagine the people at Steam are watching what's happening with both Microsoft and Sony and their service and their gaming industry. This, because it's only a rumor right now, nothing's been confirmed by Microsoft or Valve. It feels like maybe this was a rumor that was leaked by Microsoft to sort of put out some feelers and test the waters to see how the public would react to the idea of Microsoft buying Steam. And my guess is if they receive a undoubtedly negative reception to it, they're going to go, okay, no, we're not going to go that route. Because I think Steam's market, Steam's market evaluation would undoubtedly plummet. The moment Valve gives any indication that they're actually considering selling to Microsoft, I think that their market share would plummet. And I think there would also be a big question about antitrust. Because Microsoft trying to buy Steam, that would be a very, very big antitrust question. And I suspect that that's something that would probably crop up very quickly if there's any serious attempts made to acquire Steam. Because if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this because this was some time ago, I thought that there was a question about antitrust when they were trying to buy Activision Blizzard. I think that's one of the things that held up the acquisition was an antitrust investigation into Microsoft. well, I mean, ultimately it did go through, but we're seeing results. You know, eh, with both Activision and then with Bethesda. Uh, you know, when a major software company that's not a gaming software company buys up all of these properties, buys up all these game dev studios, we're seeing the result. They're closing them fast. Yeah, 4 development studios this year alone. That, Microsoft has closed more studios than it has released games in 2024. And that's not a metric that is good for anybody. And I think what's happening is I don't know who is making the decision to make these major purchases of game development studios. But somebody's not reading the room and somebody's not doing their homework. Because like I said, buying Activision Blizzard for almost $70 billion. I don't know why they did that in the first place. Because at the time of the purchase, if I'm not mistaken, Activision Blizzard wasn't exactly riding on a huge high. I can't remember when they bought at Blizzard, if they had released Overwatch 2 yet or not, or if Overwatch 2 came after the acquisition. Let's see. Let's find out. Shall we? Let's see. So, okay, so Activision Blizzard was purchased by Microsoft in 2023, October 2023. That's when the full acquisition happened. So, for comparison, Overwatch 2 had released almost exactly 1 year prior. And as you may remember, Overwatch 2 was not very well received, and it's still not well received. Most people have forgotten about Overwatch 2 because it was a bunch more than the same, and Blizzard said, "Oh yeah, you remember those features that we promised we were going to give you that you were really wanting? Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. That story mode that you as gamers were really looking forward to playing, like it's the whole reason why you bought Overwatch 2 in the first place? Yeah, we're not going to give you that anymore." So, yeah, and that was a year before the finalization of the acquisition. Now, let's look at Diablo 4. Diablo 4 was released 2023. So Diablo 4, this could be Overwatch 2 was I believe it was free. But of course, obviously the store was heavily monetized with skins. But this was like Overwatch 2, that was a big launch for Blizzard in 2022. They were promoting it heavily. And what it served to do is it served to reduce the public's confidence in Blizzard being able to put out a good game. And you follow that with Diablo 4, which was in July of 2023. And that was an abysmal failure. That launch was a complete failure. I have heard that it's gotten better, that they just did a patch, or they did an update to it that's kind of improved the game. But, Blizzard has been doing Diablo dirty for years, starting with Diablo 3, when they said it's going to be a mobile game. So, this is the most recent stuff that Blizzard's been doing. and it's been failing. And yet Microsoft bought it for almost $70 billion. So what's going on there? And then, I forget when they bought Bethesda. So Microsoft bought Bethesda, in which they acquired the parent company of ZeniMax Media, which Bethesda's part of, back in 2021. And for reference, so Activision Blizzard, they spent $68 billion. They paid. What did they pay? So they paid $7.5 billion for ZeniMax. So that's how much they paid. They paid $7.5 for ZeniMax, and this was back in 2021. Bearing in mind that Bethesda and ZeniMax hadn't really put anything out since Fallout 76, which was, again, an abysmal failure. That one was even more of a failure launch than Diablo 4 was. And Microsoft bought Bethesda. And the only thing they've put out since is Starfield, which has been received with lukewarm feelings. I'll say it's been received lukewarm because most people are just calling Skyrim in space. A lot of people think the storyline is only and there's a whole host of reasons why people are just, dang it. Starfield's not terrible, but it's not a great game. It's not this groundbreaking game that Bethesda tried to make it out to be. They only bought that, and they only bought them for like $7.5 billion. So it really does beg the question of why they paid so much money for Blizzard. What the hell did Blizzard bring to the table that they spent almost $70 billion? And the end result is what we're seeing. They're shuttering studio after studio after studio. And one of the studios that they shuttered this year alone put out the game Hi-Fi Rush, which was very well received, and even won an award for sound design. Like it won an award at the Video Game Awards for sound design. And they shut it down. Why? So there's a lot of questions right now in terms of what the hell is Microsoft doing? And my suspicion is they went on some kind of a spending binge. And they tried to just buy up as many studios as they could, maybe for the purposes of shutting them down ultimately. Maybe trying to get rid of competition. Who the hell knows? This is complete speculation. It's very likely not that. But this is a company that is a business software company. They're an operating system and business software company. They're not a gaming company. So I honestly don't know why Microsoft is going full hog into buying up all of these gaming companies. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because it's obviously outside their wheelhouse. Xbox, they've got their Xbox division, and it used to be good. Because they actually had people that knew what they were doing, apparently. Modern day, though, nobody knows what they're doing over there. And, well, and Windows. Let's not forget about Windows. They're getting every single computer that is sold. That's not a Mac and is not a Chromebook. Every single computer that is sold, they're getting some kind of a kickback for allowing Windows to be pre-installed onto it. And this is a kickback to the tune of millions or even billions, I would say. And yes, Other than that, so, I mean, but that's the thing. That's what Microsoft is. Microsoft is an operating system and business software company. They're not a gaming company. And this buck wild spending that they went out buying all these game studios is coming back to bite them because that's why they're closing. They've realized, holy shit, we are so deep in the red now that we've got to start cutting everything just to try and stay afloat. And this, I would wager this acquisition of Blizzard is going to be haunting them for the next 20 years. Because you can't just, I don't care how big your business is, you cannot spend $70 billion and not feel it for years to come if you're not making up for that loss in a relatively quick manner. And they're not. Because the majority of the stuff they've been putting out has been failure after failure after failure after failure. And, you know, they're not innovating in terms of their hardware either. You know, when Xbox came out, it was touted as being the most advanced game console in the world. Well, great. Except most of their games are not optimized to make use of this quote-unquote advanced game console. You know, a lot of games, take Starfield for the perfect example. Starfield was locked to 30 frames a second instead of 60 or 120 frames a second. And Bethesda did that deliberately. They said it was a quote artistic choice to lock Starfield to 30 frames per second. I don't know what artistic choice that is. But here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. They did have too much money, I think. Now, after all this spending and getting next to no return on it, they don't have that kind of money anymore. And they're starting to feel the pain. They're starting to see a whole lot of red in their books. That there's no solution to get them back into the black in a quick manner. That's why I said I think they're going to be feeling this pain for the next 20 years. Because of especially with the Blizzard deal. They're going to be feeling that for 20 years, for probably the next 15 to 20 years. Because nothing they've put out in recent years has come even close to chipping away at that $70 billion debt they just went into.